Hey guys, it's TechRain here, and welcome back to another video. Today, we'll be testing the Ryzen 5 96X with the new RX 9060 XT 16GB model to see if this GPU-CPU combo is actually good. Because you guys did not know, recently I built myself a new PC right here for test benching new GPUs and CPUs, and of course, I went with the 9060 XT and also the Ryzen 5 96X, and because honestly, I feel like this CPU-GPU combo is going to be the combo most people go for a $1,000 PC build. So I'm curious to see how it actually performs, and I'm going to share the result with you guys here today. And of course, if you guys have anything you want to see tested in the future and future videos like these, let me know in the comments. And for right now though, let's get into it. So first game we're going to test both the 9060 XT and also the 96X is Apex Legends on all low settings to get the most FPS possible. Then afterward, we'll do high settings. The game feels very smooth though, like, even though I haven't been killing that many people, I've been just doing the prowlers with the prowls, like, it feels really good. Bro, this one prowler, dude. Bro, the coil, bro. Not the time. Demons are hard. Sliding somewhere in staging? Okay. Dude, he's just breaking my ankles, bruh. Okay, well, I'm gonna quickly say Apex feels pretty good on low settings. I wasn't performing that good at all tonight. So what we're gonna do is Apex max settings to see how it performs. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's a really solid fight. Revy. Ah! Bad part! Of course, the kid doesn't have a single freaking heal on his body. I'm not gonna lie, if he had his ult right there, I'd be dead. That kid should have not lost that one. He lost that one, and it doesn't grab as soon as he did. There we go. I was about no shot. Push up on this at our corner front. Are you free right now? Quick person behind. Someone just got knocked in front. In front. Touch in front. Knocked on truck. Drill truck. Pushing it. Inside. Oh, he's dead. Okay. He just teleported right into the other conduit. That's actually hilarious. So on ultra settings, our max settings for Apex 1080p, we're averaging over 250, nearing like 300 at times, but it wasn't consistent. It was like around 180, I'd say. But still very good on Apex. I'll quickly say ultra. So next we're testing Fortnite on performance mode to get the most FPS possible, see how it does. And then afterward, we will switch it to high. Fortnite, let's go. 700 plus FPS in the battle bus. Now, that's not crazy, in all fairness. Like, we had the 5060 8 gig, and it had like almost near 1,000 FPS in the battle bus consistently. So seeing it being not as high is kind of like surprising. But then again, I will quickly say this thing has like double the amount of VRAM. So like long term, if you plan to play 1440p, you'll see a lot more value out of that. Well, over 400 plus FPS, nearing 500 at times. Pretty good. We love to see it. Also, just all the AM5 CPUs do an amazing job for gaming. He's like, there's no reason to go Intel at all right now. If Intel was still destroying AMD like they were with the 9000 and also 13,000 series CPUs for second layer, they'd be fine. The problem is they went south midway through because of microcode. And of course now no one trusts them. I'm like, I don't blame you guys. Cheats. Oh, never mind. He's just straight in front of me. The recoil is gonna screw it. Oh, I just got melted. Okay. Dude, I got out there. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is Fortnite DirectX 12, all high seg to see how this actually does. I'm kind of curious to see how it goes. Okay, right on the battle bus, near 200 FPS, and one low is gonna be 180 or something like that. So let's get this drop on, see how much FPS we get when we actually land on all high settings. I'm really hoping it's more FPS than the 5060, because if I was disappointed with the 5060, I was like, oh, this thing is awesome for comp settings, but like high settings was like kind of mediocre. It was kind of disappointing. I did not land on gun. Lovely. Okay, so while we're touching the ground, we're on over 160. Looks like our high is 180, which is awesome. We love to see it. And of course, I have no gun, which is not particularly want to be the case. What happened to bro? Did bro just get sniped by somebody else? Or you DC? No, dude, not DC. Oh my gosh, right here. Ooh, you a doink, boy! I was like, bye, I'm out. Part of pocket rift. Oh, I wanna hunt that kid who, oh. Oh, that's too good. Bro's, you know bro's mad. Bro is 100% mad. Wait, that's the bot. mind, that's a bot. I thought there was a real person for a second there, but I guess not. Oh, never mind. Alright. Well, I'm found where all the bots have been in this game. Oh, hello. That's okay. I didn't realize the bush was still in the game. Yeah, I was thinking that bush looks awfully sus, and then I was just dead. I was like, okay, never mind. 160 plus on Fortnite high settings, which is really nice to say. We're almost nearing 200 at times consistently, which is way more than the 50-60, which is awesome. Okay, the next game we're testing CSGO. We're doing medium settings for the time being because that's the sweet spot for getting the most performance out of CSGO. You can't go with the low, but I've noticed sometimes it's kind of diminishing returns. But right now we're hitting around 300 plus FPS, nearing 400 at times, which is nice to see. And if I can live longer than a few seconds, that'll be absolutely amazing. This game recently have not been particularly the best with testing it because like I just die immediately on spawn. So that's fun, isn't it? But hey, I got a kill right there without dying within the first 20 seconds. Okay, never mind. I retract my previous statement. I'm gonna try to pop off right here. At least I'll get some footage. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably in the worst, most possible spot because like there's so many people that get to spawn around me. It's actually ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. Okay, you're so lucky. It's like somebody right there. You know, I could just chill on highway and just do that, and I'd be just fine. See, this is the spot. This is the sweet spot. You got a good spot right here, and I'm dead again. Well, I'm just gonna quickly say it. CSGO feels pretty good, I will quickly say. Besides me just dying constantly every few seconds, it feels like on low end we do get around like 240 FPS, on the high end we get up to like 400, but it really depends on like where we are at the given moment. So, yeah, I think it's pretty good. Okay, welcome to Rust. We're doing Rust next, and of course we're doing it on high settings for the time being, just to see how the game actually performs. Now, I did get a YouTube comment on my community tab poll asking me to try Rust because, you know, they're curious to see how it plays around big bases and also inside bases and during raids. Now, unfortunately, the big base is right here, so we can test that. I found one earlier. And now, the whole getting into a raid thing was a little bit more on the particle effect thing, so I don't have a great way of testing that because I don't think there's going to be any raids near me for a while because this server's kind of quiet recently. But once it becomes daybreak, we should get a general idea on how this actually performs. But right now, it's getting over 100 FPS in the dark, which is nice. Usually it'd be lower or higher depending on the situation. The particle effect from the torch, though, is not that bad. I will say one thing, though, I was surprised about. It was surprisingly really quick. The load up Rust with the 9060 XT and also the Ryzen 5 96X. Usually with Rust, it's one of those games where, like, depending on your CPU GPU combo, you can get a lot of FPS or little FPS. It really varies between a lot of factors. Usually it's more CPU implied what can actually happen. But I will quickly say this combo was with the actual SSD was really fast in loading the game. It took me, if I had to make a guess, it probably was around like 5 minutes. I think 5 or 2 minutes. I don't know. It was like, felt like it was like quick, but not that quick at the exact same time. Just quick enough that, like, if I was gonna go do a counter raid, I at least have a few minutes to respond to it. So yeah, unfortunately I don't play with my boys in Rust anymore, and then my boys are now playing other games. So I really want to get back in the Rust, but I just don't have the time, and I don't have any friends to play with. So if you want to friend me on Rust and want to run it up one wipe, let me know. Your boy's always down. But I will quickly say, around this big base right here, this is a pretty good example here. It runs pretty smooth, over 120 FPS, nearing 140 at times in instances, which is nice. And the game just looks gorgeous. This is the one game that always looks good no matter what you play. Like, if you have a good PC, it's gonna look really good. If you don't have a good PC, it's not gonna be that fun. There are some stutters here and there, so I assume that's because our 1% lows are not that good. If I had to make my guess on what the 1% lows are, I assume it's around 80 to 90 FPS. So even if we're averaging over like 120 to 110 while running around this terrain, we have some stutters here and there. Now, when we get into a really big fight with particle effects, I would assume this would plop down to around like on low 80, on high 100, but that's just my guess on just a few things. Now, what we'll do is we're gonna decrease this from high settings to low settings and just see how much FPS we get. Now, usually you get a sweet spot between the things to actually get like a little bit more FPS. So right now, with the low settings, we're getting around over 140 consistent to nearing 160 at times peaking. And you can see the game still looks very, very good. Like, I would say this is more than playable, especially like if you're someone who likes playing Rust and likes the look of it, but you also don't want to lose the quality of your FPS. This is much better. And I do feel like a 1% lows are just way more smoother because I'm not getting as many stutters here and there. For how many games and stuff I've played, I'm very, very much aware of like the small things. And also video editing. If I video edit and I see like noise, I'll lose it. So how do I do a crouch jump again? I think it's like jump, crouch jump. I will get in this door, I swear. I'm trying to get into the building because he wanted to look inside a building. No, I'm so, nah, I got it. Okay. So this is how it looks like in buildings. So, looks pretty good. The FPS starts climbing to 200 consistently when you're inside, which is nice. I am curious though, how about actually high settings when you're inside? How is that? That's a good question actually. So we were like around, so 160 almost. It's almost capping out at 160. It's barely hitting 160 when you start a building. So if you're somebody who's playing Rust and you're trying to get some nice FPS, this GPU CPU combo does really good. I would recommend the sweet spot medium. Let's get a little bit of more FPS, but at the same time too, we'll keep that persistent quality. You can see right, we're getting 200, near 200 to 190. We're now getting on lows around like indoors 190 up to 180, which is much better. And then it still looks very good. Like, God, I want to get back in the Rust. I really want to get back in the Rust. I really should just make a Rust YouTube channel and make Rust movies and just like do it for fun and just see how it goes. But then again, it takes so much time, man. The next game we're testing is Cyberpunk 2077. I have not touched this game since its release because when it released, I never got past the tutorial because of bugs. So I use it as a testing area now for testing things. So with Cyberpunk, we're around total of 200 FPS. That's actually kind of impressive. I used to be way worse than that. This really goes to show the quality of the game. I will say this is some weird artifacting with the water here, which is interesting. But everything else about the game looks pretty good, I'll quickly say. I like how this like is just like gorgeous. This game has always aged so well. It's just like one of those games that like I feel like it's gonna really show its age once we get better GPUs. The more GPUs that get better at improving it's gonna look awesome. So what we'll do next is we have it on high settings. I'm kind of curious to test the ray tracing capabilities of this GPU. So we're gonna slap it to ultra just for the time being because AMD hasn't improved their ray tracing. I'm not entirely sure how it is, but you can see with the ray tracing on ultra, we're only averaging around 100 FPS. But I will quickly say the game looks absolutely insanely good. This looks awesome. I love how this is. The game feels a bit sluggish though because like if you don't have like 120 frames, it's weird. There's still some weird artifacting with the water. I'm not entirely sure why that's like. That's not raining in here. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but still, this is nice. I'm curious though, how is low going to do? Let's do low and see how much FPS we get. So with low settings, we can probably get consistent like near 200 up to 240. So if you have 240 refresh rate in your monitor, you can get that. The game looks still good. Not as good as it was on high. Like, it's still playable, more than playable, but like, man, this game really shines when you play it on highest preset. So next game we're testing is Marvel Rivals. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start on the lowest settings possible with the 9060 XT, and then we'll go to high settings afterwards to see how much FPS we get. Come here, Jeff. Get out of here. Still doing pretty good so far. Did they buff Iron Man or something like that? Because it feels like he's doing a lot more damage. Unless I got some like rune thing on me. Not sure what that was all about. So it's like the high is 200, but like it's very unlikely we'll actually like hit it in retrospect. Oh, I got her. She got cooked. Never mind. I might be dead. Oh no. Oh my god, I got so lucky. There's a health pack right here. So what we're gonna do is quickly just crank everything, the high, just to see how Marvel Rivals does. We're gonna probably lose like 30 to 40 FPS. So remember, our lows were 160, nearing 200 at highs. Now we're around 130 on low. No, on 130 on high as their lows. And then looks like nearing 150 as highs, but like, wow, there's a lot going on. Well, I'm cooking right now. I am cooking. Hello, Loki. Doctor Strange Supreme, you're no match for me. Okay, never mind. I might be. Actually, no, you're cooked. How'd he block that? What? You can block that? Okay, so the FPS on high thing is very weird. Like, bouncing around, like, 160 at highs, nearing 170, but other times, depending on what's going on in the game, it'll drop down to 130s. So next up, we're testing the finals, and of course, we're starting with everything on low with static for our RTX, because we don't really need it with the AMD GPUs. They do have RTX, but I don't think it's as good as the ray tracing one. Heavies get rocket launchers, which is so much BS. Got a nasty spot right here. Woo! He can melt it, boy! He can melt it! There's another kid like right above me. Woo-hoo-hoo! I'm getting closer there. I want to see this. Are you serious right now? Of course there's a heavy and light guy on it. You gotta be kidding me, bro. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna increase everything to high for the time being just to see how it plays. And I'm not gonna enable RTX because I don't particularly care about that in this game. That's one. That's two. That's three. Oh, it's us. Oh, four. Get absolutely cooked on. Get cooked. The game just feels so good when you activate more than 120 FPS. This game's incredible. Dubs. Yeah, no, I would say this GP combo, insane for the finals. That felt amazing. So next game we're testing is going to be Overwatch on all low settings for the time being. I'm not sure why the graphics textures are set that high, but we're going to set everything for low for the time being to see how this performs, and afterwards switch to the high. Okay, let's try this Overwatch on low. The game looks really good though, even on low. I just like one of those games that like is like oldie and still looks really nice. But right now, over 300 FPS consistently, looking to be around 400, which is nice. I'm trying to crush this Roadhog. Big. There's a tank. Oh, come here, Hanzo. That's not how this works. Oh, never mind. That was a bit too greedy on my part. So far, the game feels really good, though. Like, consistently near 400 every single time. Pretty awesome. I'll quickly say. Well, I'd say this is pretty good. What we're going to do now is we're just going to crank everything to high. Let's see how much FPS we get from this. Bro got cooked. Oh, the Junker Queen's good. Like, she's not that strong, but she's still good enough. The FPS, though, feels pretty nice. Go over my final thoughts now on the Ryzen 5 96X with the RX 9060 XT 16GB model. Now, I want to quickly just say this real quick. We did a video earlier comparing the 96X with the RTX 5060, And I would say the results from that testing were pretty good. I will have the full video link down below. But I was also kind of disappointed in some of the results, just because the RTX 5060 8GB did really good on like 1080p low, getting the most FPS possible. It even beat this GPU in some titles. However, this GPU I felt like was primarily the best budget GPU in the market. If you were to build a PC for $1,000, you just get the Ryzen 5 96X with this GPU, and then you'll be set long term for 1440p gaming or 1080p high, or if you want to just get the most FPS possible, you can set the low. But the RTX 5060 had better lows than this one, but this one has better long-term investment just because that 16GB of VRAM. Because you saw some of the titles we did for 1080p high, we still consistently got over like 300 plus FPS. And in some games, it was just so much more better than the actual other combo, where like Rust was a great example, where we played Rust on the RTX 5060 with the 96X. We only got around 80 to 90 FPS. But when we did with this combo, we easily got over 120 FPS consistently on high settings. So this thing is really good if you want to actually get the most FPS possible, but also want to ensure that you get some long-term investments out of this actual PC build. So yeah, that's my honest thoughts about this. I am kind of surprised with the results of this. I'm glad to see AMD's absolutely kicking it when it comes to actually the new budget GPUs. It's cool to see like this one's actually like the same price as the RTX 5060, but has double the amount of VRAM. I don't know what NVIDIA is doing to throw in. They could be easily doing what AMD is doing and doing so much better, but it's unfortunately not the case. If you guys did find this video interesting or even helpful, make sure to smash the like button and get subscribed to some future tech content, because later here we will be comparing the RTX 5060 against the 9060 XT 16GB model to see which one is better for gaming and streaming. So if you don't want to miss out on that video, definitely get subscribed. I'll see you for more on Tech Rant out.